more
millennial.
than that, yeah.
This presentation is full of gifts. I've heard that millennials are notorious for buying these gifts. So that's
Nano, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream.
these gifts, so please don't sue me.
Yeah.
And I have one. Yeah, millennials. You know,
Yeah.
we're the worst. Anyway, awesome. Let's move on to some stuff that you actually care about.
Why is it always
So
white?
on November 26th, we talked about these gods on the last update, but just officially confirming it here. The first god coming out on November 26th will be Cupid.
Yay.
Yeah.
Cupid.
And Cupid also does have a model rework
Yes.
as part of this, so we're excited about that.
Cupid
Obviously
and
some
Cupid
gameplay
model
changes as well,
rework.
but pretty exciting.
Yep. Next up, we've got
Thor.
iconic. People have been asking for Thor since the Alpha Weekend phase, so we're
Yes.
super
A
excited.
lot
to
of
get
cool
into it.
changes and
Yeah, I
plus
think
ones
he's,
with these
like,
characters
probably the
too.
most
Although I don't think
iconic
they're going to talk about
Smite
them yet.
One god that's not in the game right now.
They all
So
have
we
a lot
definitely
of
need
cool
to get
plus
him.
ones. These characters.
And lastly, on November 26th, Poseidon. You know,
Yes.
Unleashing the Kraken just has always felt great.
Yep.
You know, we have
That's
been
a good
working on him for a
trio.
little while. He's a slightly more challenging god in some ways, but yeah, excited to bring him in.
Yeah.
So
Hope they're not skins
this
in
is
game.
the we already told you that
Those
these three
are that's
gods
a
coming
good
if you watch
trio
Wednesday
for the
show. We just wanted to
26th in a couple
reiterate that
weeks.
on November 26th, these three gods will be releasing. I don't know who made this Poseidon gift, Flairboot. As I said, I don't own the rights to any of these gifts. I found them on the internet. I'm pretty sure that one was on Gift Tenor.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so now we're gonna go to start kind of revealing some new stuff. So the next.
Oh, we're
patch
jumping right
after
into it. They're
November
not waiting at
26th
all. More
is currently
gods.
targeted for December 17th.
Or 10th.
Or yeah, sorry, December 10th.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Subject to change, right? The patch date could change, but that's what. the
So
date
this
we're
is stuff you guys
targeting
have
right
never
now, so 2
seen.
weeks after
Yesterday
the
they
previous
leaked the
patch.
last three.
And the first god of 3 gods in that patch is going to be
Drum roll.
Aphrodite.
There we go.
Yeah. So I think Aphrodite is probably the most community requested god
Oh, yeah.
based on the chat that
Under
I've been seeing
every
here.
social media post, all over the official Discord, players love them some Aphrodite.
Yeah, and Ben was on the show a little while ago, showed off Aphrodite.
People really like Aphrodite that much?
So I think we're kind of on the right track with that.
Mhm.
She's got some cool gameplay features. As
Because
always,
boobas.
and,
Boobas make
yeah,
the world go round.
It'd be exciting to have Afro in the game.
I know. All right, next up.
Your old
next
skins
up-
will not transfer over, but you'll.
Pele.
I don't think we teased this one at all.
No, we haven't. Yeah.
But we're really excited to bring Pele in the game. Pele is a really good
Afro
jungler
Pele.
who adds a different kind of
Um,
jungle play style to the game that we don't have
Your
right
old
now.
skins won't transfer over,
also
but they
always a
will
very
bring some
popular
skins
character,
from Smite 1 over to
across
Smite
all
2
skill
that you
levels.
can pay for with Legacy
kind of
gems.
in and out of SPL success as well over the years.
Legacy gems
So
you got
really
for every
excited
gem you
to
spent in
add
Smite
more
1, you'll
jungle,
get a
'cause I think we
Legacy
also
gem in
just
Smite
need
2.
more junglers in the game.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have, in this.
So some
upcoming patch, we have
skins, like the
Nemesis,
Jokey
then we're gonna
Loki
have
skin as
Thor,
an example,
then we're
was
gonna have
100%
Pele. Yep,
purchasable with
3
Legacy
patches
skins.
in a row of more
So they'll
junglers being
slowly
added to the
bring
game.
over
So we knew
fan
that you guys
favorites
were
from Smite
starving out
1.
there, and we
But they're
needed you
not
to,
all ported over.
cook
They
up
have to
some,
rebuild it from
delicious
the
meal here.
Yes.
ground
Pele's
up. They have to
gonna be
rebuild
fire.
all the character models, all the skins,
And the
everything.
last god in the December 10th update
Afro, Pele,
is
Medusa.
Medusa.
There we go.
Yeah. So
Afro,
we
Pele,
need, like,
Medusa.
we timed that perfectly because CatNat976 said right before we revealed that need more hunter.
There
too.
we go.
Hey, look, we got more hunter too. So Medusa, obviously a hunter who is iconic, been around for forever. Also,
The girl
is
patch.
always a very popular character on console.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have the backpedal and side strafe movement penalties in
Yeah.
the same way, so it feels really good to run around with her on controllers.
And it's harder to turn around on console too, or a little bit slower depending on your sensitivity. So.
Yes. So Medusa, exciting. They're cooking up some interesting
Afro,
gameplay changes
Pele,
from what I've
Medusa.
seen.
So we're
I
getting
think she's gonna look
Izanami,
largely like she
Kepri,
does,
Nemesis,
today just updated.
Thor,
Yep.
Poseidon,
But yeah,
Cupid,
exciting for
Afro,
December
Pele,
10th.
Medusa.
So that just kind of to reiterate before the end of the
By
year
so
here, we've
far,
got
all of them by
3 more
December
patches.
10th,
Yep,
so
we've
about
got
1
9
full
more
month.
gods
Those are going to be
coming
the 9
before the end of
gods.
the year, and that's pretty exciting in my book.
It's super dope. Yeah.
Sweet. So now let's talk about
Kepri's
kind of
in about
what's after
5 days.
December 10th.
Cool.
We have holidays and
Yes.
blackouts. So this may come as a surprise to some of you, but we are indeed real people with families. And because we are real people with families, the devs are going to get a little bit of time off around Christmas and Thanksgiving. If you get one more click. So we are not going to be working like over the week of Christmas or over the week of Thanksgiving, right? Also, the entire industry, again, maybe a surprise, is staffed by real people that has families. So if you click one more time, Microsoft and Sony actually will completely shut down for the holiday season. There is nobody at their offices. They will not answer your emails. They are off doing their own things.
Yeah, they're off the grid.
Yes. And so
So
they have
no
what they
console
call
things.
a blackout period from December 21st until January 4th. And during that blackout period, we actually cannot safely update the game. We can keep the game running. We can do everything on our side, but we can't ship patches to the game safely that require a client update, like things that are server side we can do.
So
But
there's
things that
going to be
require
a
client
period
update,
where they
we can't
can't
click.
ship updates in. So they're basically going to like skip a
that's-
patch or two that
oh,
we've been
sorry, no,
getting
that's
frequently,
fine.
and then drop a
Because
big
if anything
patch
goes
in
wrong with that
January is what
update,
they're going to say.
then, and it would require their intervention to fix it, to put a new update out, then they won't fix it, and you would just not be able to play the game on that platform until January 4th. So we do this every year. It just is kind of maybe a little bit less obvious that we don't patch during this time window because we don't patch as frequently as we have been patching right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just we cannot patch between December 21st and January 4th. Just to be clear to everybody.
Right.
Okay. Also, we're going to be prepping for the Smite Founder Series Vegas Land, which is January 17th.
Smite Founders
to 19th,
Series
I believe.
Vegas Land.
And as part of that, we want to give the players a build on or around December 15th that is the version of the game that they will be playing in Vegas, which includes a lot of the new gods, which includes a bunch of the new features that are part of the kind of the big release. And we want them to play on that release at Vegas Land. That's currently the plan. And they'll have that server available for them to practice on the whole time.
Yeah.
So really, we need to get everything that needs to be done for January done by December 15th, and then we can polish it after that. But everything has to be like 90% of the way done and in that build by that date. So last note, just in terms of timing here, is that we also have to certify a full build, which is a longer process.
The question
with,
is,
consoles,
are they going to ship
in
this
order to get text
giant
chat in.
pack
So,
of gods that
we're
they
gonna be
want to
trying
get
do that
before
during this
January?
period as well. So it's also
Before
just
the
gonna slow
LAN?
down
I
our
would
ability
guess
to push
no.
patches like live.
I would guess that
So
patch
because
is
of
going to
that,
come after LAN because that
we're
would be
not going to
really
have
messed
a
up
big
to
Smite
drop
2 update
like another
between
9 or 10
December
gods in
10th
one
or
big
so, when
patch
that update
right
with the
before a
previous
LAN.
gods
I can't
comes out,
imagine they'll do that.
and early January, kind of around the time of the Vegas.
We're not planning any
patch.
major updates.
It's going to be a little
from
bit of
December
a
to September 10th to early January.
a
So okay, so
slow
you saw the
period, we
first
understand,
9
and it
gods
kind
you're
of sucks
getting.
a little bit.
So between now and
But
December 10th, you're
it's
getting
part
9
of
gods. Then we won't get
the
any new gods
holidays
for
and us
about
building up to hopefully a really
3-ish
huge
weeks
update in
going
January.
into the LAN. That'll probably stay
One person
consistent.
asked in chat, will the build on December
Okay.
15th be available to everybody or just the pros?
So here's what
We
you're going to
probably
get.
will be doing
Next
flash
week,
testing,
we're getting Kepri,
for everybody
Nemesis,
starting in December of the build that's going to be going
Izanami.
live, in January.
A couple weeks after that, you're getting
it's not gonna
Thor,
be up 24/7 or
Poseidon,
anything. It'll just be kind of
Cupid.
regular flash tests.
December 10th, you're getting Afro, Pele, Medusa,
And
and then we're not getting any
now
gods
that I've
until the
done all
LAN.
the kind of boring stuff.
Yeah.
That'll
let's
put us
talk
at, like,
about
40.
the gods that are coming in January.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I've split these up into 2 kind of waves here for everybody to listen through. The January wave 1 is gods that we are near 100% confident right now will be in the game in January.
Yes.
They're in our internal playtests right now. They're going through the art pipeline. Everything's looking really good. The gods that are in January wave 2 are gods that we are less confident will be in the game in January, but we're still working really hard to get them in the game for January.
Yeah.
And if they aren't in the game by January, they'll be in the game very shortly after in early February.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So again, as I kind of said at the beginning of the game of the show today, if we get to 45, 47 gods in January and the next few come out in early February, I think we would still consider this a successful
sure,
initiative of
definitely.
getting more
100%.
gods in the game.
Yeah.
100%.
But I just want to give you guys that expectation. Where
Could you imagine if we had to wait all the way
know
until
what
January to get the
what to
god
look for
roster
here.
of 31
So,
that we currently
with
have
way
right
too much
now?
preamble, let's talk about
Let's
who
talk
these
about
gods
wave
actually
Way
are.
too long.
Yes.
All right. January wave 1.
January wave
Subject to
1.
change.
Subject to
As
change,
always,
as always.
All right. First,
What is that font? I actually Googled a glitter text generator. It was the only thing I spent time on this presentation. So
it's great.
January wave 1. Here we go.
All
First
right.
god. Uller.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uller.
We mentioned he was going to be the kind of the first stance swapper coming to the game.
Uller.
He destroyed me in the dev playtest yesterday, and is one of those really like high skill cap characters that adds something different to the hunter role.
Yeah.
So really excited to bring him
Rexy
to the
should
game.
be excited, yeah.
He's also kind of been able to flex into other roles somewhat.
Yeah,
in the
we've
past.
seen Uller, mid, Uller, ADC, of course. Some Ul solo, I believe, solo or troll.
Yes.
Running that in SPL
Yes.
last year. So, yeah, Flex Hunter, Stand Switcher. We had Ben on last week, showed off some of the model updates and stuff like that. So really exciting for Uller to join the roster.
How they do Uller scaling?
Next up,
whether it'll be like
January
intelligence-based, like an ability-based.
Agni.
Agni.
I don't know if we've teased Agni at all.
No, we haven't.
Agni is looking good.
Very cool
again,
plus
Agni
ones
also
on Agni.
destroyed me yesterday. I
Very
was just
cool
on the wrong
plus
team.
ones.
Agni, great mid laner. Kind of the artillery mage, has a little bit more range, a different play style than any mid laner we
Very
have right
cool
now.
plus ones on
Also
Agni.
has,
When I say plus
a
ones, I
dash,
mean like the
which
small
is,
change
yes,
between
a little
Smite
bit
1 and
more of a
Smite 2 that
mobile
makes
mid
them
laner.
like
I
a
was
little
gonna call
unique
out
going into
so
Smite
Right
2.
now, we have a lot of mid laners that don't have a ton of mobility, so getting Agni into the mix is going to add some spice for sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited about Agni. Chaos is also excited about Agni.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then the third god in January in Wave 1.
My favorite,
Mulan.
Mulan.
We had the vote a while ago where y'all said that the version of Mulan with the mask is going to be the default art kind of going forward. So we're excited about that. Mulan, also an incredibly popular solo laner across all levels of play. Maybe not the top 1% SPL, but in everything up until then, she's incredibly popular. Has a pretty good win rate as well. Like, she does well. Excited to get her into the game.
Yeah, super exciting for that. All right, next up, we have Geb.
Geb, yes, sir.
So, Geb, very exciting. Being able to shield people, add a little bit more of a true supporty support to the game.
I love Geb.
I have played a lot of Geb. Geb is one
I
of
love
my
Geb.
Diamond Gods in Smite 1. And also there was a Geb on the other team yesterday that destroyed me. So it was just kind of a wave of these
You're just
people.
getting destroyed in playtest.
It was a bad playtest, dude. But I was getting run over.
I
Army
love
was just
me some Geb, brother.
unstoppable. These things happen. But yeah, very excited. And then the last god
Where's
in
Sylvanas?
the
You're goddamn
January
right.
Wave 1 is going to be Fenrir. So there's going to be an all-new god in this wave, right? We are not going to confirm who that all-new god is today. I'm sure a lot of you have read data mining about who that god is going to be. We just aren't ready to make a formal statement about that yet. We're working on it. We're going to have more to talk about that soon. But there will be an all-new god as part of that first wave.
Yeah.
It's been leaked.
Moving on to
whether or
January,
not that's the
Wave
god
2.
or not,
Yes,
I can't
so,
confirm or deny.
Just to reiterate,
But it's been
these are the
leaked
gods
on
that we are
who the
almost
brand new
100%
Smite
sure
2
will
god could be.
in the early January release that we put out. This next group of gods, we are fairly confident will make it into January, but some of them may slip a little bit. They may come a little bit later.
Yeah.
So,
all right, I will move us along here.
January Wave 2.
Fenrir 2
chat's
is
on board.
hype. Yeah.
January
All right,
Wave 2.
January Wave 2. Our first god in this wave is
Hunbots.
Hunbots.
Yeah.
Hunbots.
An OG.
An OG. I remember when he used to scream "Happy New Year" when he ultimated. Honestly, maybe my most played jungler.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm not good and I like big circles.
Hey,
but
there
I love Hunbots. I think that he is, when you're looking at like iconic Smite characters, we talked about Thor a little while ago.
Hunbots.
I think Hunbots
So that's
is
what,
another
3
really
assassins
iconic
we'll have, right?
Smite
No, 4.
gameplay characters.
We'll have
that,
4
like,
more assassins
a
by
lot
this
of
time.
the game is kind of shaped around the way.
Granted, there's not
right?
roles, but you know what I mean.
I found this GIF online and I loved it.
I want to Smite.
Yeah, and he's gonna get to Smite.
2.
So yeah, pretty exciting about that.
All right, next up we have Achilles.
Yeah, Achilles, another great solo laner. Another execute. We just got more executes in the game, I guess. And really fun to play.
Yeah.
Right. I know that they're looking at. I think one of his abilities they're thinking about maybe changing up a little bit as part of the +1 stuff and whatnot. But I think that he is a very fun character to add to the game.
Yeah.
Another good solo laner. And somebody
Really
that we're
big
really
name recognition.
Yes. Always really popular. I just love the combat dodge that he has.
It's so good.
It's like the most fun.
Hey, that's that 8-way dodge we were talking about the other show, right?
Yeah. So we have to build out that tech.
Mhm.
And we might have another guy that uses that tech later on in this list.
It's so
Let's
bright.
see here. I think they might see him sooner rather than later.
Maybe.
Because the next
Oh, is
god
it the next one?
It's Rama.
Rama. Yeah. So Ram, again, like being able to go up in the air and hit those snipes, very exciting. He, again, just one of those iconic characters in Smite.
This is your tried and true stem hunter that we don't have in Smite 2 yet. So Rama, when you think about a stem hunter, it's Ram. So super exciting to get him into Smite 2 pretty early on.
Yeah. I think Chaos was the one who was really like, we got to find a way to get him in.
Yeah.
So, if you're a Ram enjoyer, thanks, Chaos.
Yeah, there we go. All right, moving right along here. We've got 2 more in this wave. Next up, we have Cabrakan.
Cabrakan, brothers.
Cabrakan is maybe an interesting choice to people. Part of how we came up with this list, us able to move quickly, right, was a combination of like what gods could we implement relatively quickly with the tech that we had, right, and also like how did that balance out with player interest, right? And Cabrakan is actually like more popular than you would think. He had an incredibly bad launch. So a lot of players that were around when he launched kind of remember him as being like underwhelming or like not cool. But it was just because he was like super undertuned when he launched. And then after that, he's really grown into be a very like steady state, relatively popular character. He's also very flexible.
Play 3 roles, maybe even 4 pretty successfully in Smite win with Cabrakan for sure.
So I played Cabrakan in the playtest where I got destroyed.
Hey.
So I'm excited for Cabrakan to be played by people better than me in the actual game.
Better knock it off.
All right, last up for Wave 2 in Smite 2
is Vulcan.
Vulcan, brother.
Yeah, so Vulcan,
brother.
I think pretty much all these gods are just like super iconic. Vulcan is
it's a good set of 10 gods for January.
Personally, you gotta love throwing out the meatball. You
gotta
love
throwing
out
good group of 10 gods for January. After the good group.
Earthquaker?
Yeah, I know, right? What?
Smasher? I don't know. Big Circle Go Burr, as Lukey Pookie says in chat. Plus, dropping the little turrets. He just, one of the things I like the most about Vulcan is that even in Smite 1, he's a god that you could rank any skill, and it was a reasonable choice to do. It wasn't like you always had to rank your 3 first, or, it was like, no, depending on what the lane matchup was, you could do different things, which was really neat. So
yeah, Vulcan is one of those characters that when you're hitting your stuff, you just feel like the man or the woman or whoever. But like whenever you get into that loop and you're hitting your stuff, he just feels so good to play and super fun to play. So really exciting to get Vulcan into the mix for sure.
Yeah, and so I think this is the first wave.
Right? Unbats, Achilles, Rama, Cabrakan, Vulcan.
To get to 50 gods kind of as quickly as possible. And if you go to the next slide, I think I've got the kind of overview, in which maybe hopefully it's big enough for y'all to see on your screen at home. But this is kind of like the order of how we have released gods so far, right? And I think that you can see,
this is the information I got like 6 weeks ago when they did the layoffs, to where I was like, "Oh, this is a good
speeding up.
This is a good timeline here."
Has gone up a lot.
I begged them that morning. I was like, "Can you please give the community some extra info, please?"
A lot more gods.
I can only maintain this level of positivity with a group of negativities for so long. And don't get me wrong, I understood the negativity,
we're going to slow down to even the cadence that we thought we were on before, right? We want to make sure that we keep going really quickly. Everybody has their personal favorite gods, which is the one problem with putting out this list, right? Is that everybody's like, what about Mercury? What about like, I don't know. There's a lot of gods that come out of the chat, and we know that every god is somebody's favorite, and this like push that we've done has gotten us closer to getting your favorite god in the game, right? Because we were able to get through this list relatively quickly, and then we're going to keep moving quickly after this.
Yeah, these updates, these Titan talks are fantastic.
Handy notepad here. And initially before we were
just remember, chat, when you guys have complaints and you guys are like, gods aren't coming fast enough, this is what
development cycle.
We're in the ambassador chat every day,
right?
Telling them like, yo, we need
45 or 50.
You know what I'm saying?
We weren't going to get to 40 gods until April 22nd.
Yeah.
We're going to be at 40 gods on December 10th.
Yep.
And we weren't going to get to 50 gods until August 5th.
They weren't going to get to 50 gods until August 5th of next year, chat.
Really stupid. Like, when I look at this now, I'm like, what the hell were we thinking? But we have moved faster than we thought possible, to be honest, to get to this number. And it's proven to us that we are capable of moving fast.
Yeah.
Like I said, we aren't going to be able to continue moving quite this fast because we have harder gods next on the list.
Yep.
And we also want to start doing more all new gods because those take more time.
Yep, we want to focus some time on new items as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
The
so,
map, the map, please.
You know,
Map
new
needs
items.
some
Yeah, like I
TLC.
said, there's just a lot of stuff that we need to get. That if all of our dev pipeline is going into gods,
Once
can't
we
quite
get
do
to
that.
like
We wanna
50
keep going
though,
really fast with gods after this.
the accelerated
We're gonna
pace
get
isn't going to
ranks of the harder
matter
gods
as
in. We're
much.
gonna,
It mattered
you know,
because
I
it
see a
wasn't
lot of
fun when we only had
Solar Engineers in chat, right?
25.
She's
There
actually,
wasn't like
really.
I've played the same 2 or 3 gods in
difficult
this
from an
role
artistic
40 times now,
perspective
right?
to bring
I'm
over,
kind of
'cause
bored.
she gets some really
Now that we're up to
challenging,
like
tech
50, it
art
doesn't
and
matter
building
if it
things
stays at
around
this
her,
pace where we're
like,
getting
dog
3
tentacle
more every
things.
2 weeks, right?
So there's a lot.
It's not going to
that
matter as
we,
much because there's way more
you know, we
variety,
wanna get
which was
in,
the issue.
and we're going to be pushing towards
I'm
those
fine
kind
if
of
they
gods
even take their foot off the
shortly
pedal a
after
little bit
this.
come January and start working on the map, working on
So,
other
yeah,
things.
this is
Work
the
on the
push.
menus, work on some skins.
As Hindu Man says, I hope you all are happy.
Yes.
No, we're really excited. You know, we're
I'm also really excited.
pushing real hard to move quickly here. We've been getting a lot of these questions about who the first 50 gods are.
Yeah.
And hopefully you enjoyed the kind of quick run through today
Yeah.
of who the first 50 gods are. And then
Hell yeah, brother.
I can, you know, we can answer questions about other gods that you may have
Hell yeah, brother.
in the chat, but like
Hope this
I'm
is
not gonna
hope
be
that
able
hope
to
that list and
confirm
hope this
when
accelerated
they're
pace is
coming.
kind of what people
I can just tell you a little bit
want.
about like maybe why they're more challenging and didn't make the 50. But again, we're going to keep moving really quickly after this first 50. We're going to keep pushing to get gods into the game super quick, right?
All right. Well, thank you, Alex, for making that gorgeous presentation.
PowerPoint,
As I said,
huge.
graphic
I saw
design is
lots
my
of
passion.
compliments
Huge.
in chat. You know.
So I just generally make a lot of PowerPoints for work, and I like making PowerPoints. Normally they aren't quite that silly. They're a little bit silly though. I do put too many GIFs in them. But I also I'm a big Magic player, and one of my favorite like Magic streamers does like a PowerPoint set review for whenever a new set comes out. I was a little bit inspired by him.
Nice.
So yeah, good stuff.
Well, shall we get into Q&A?
Let's do it.
What do you want to talk about, chat? I'm sure you all
Q&A.
have loads of questions after all that.
Oh, geez, it's moving fast today.
I know, right? You got a lot of people here.
Okay,
interested in
I see,
upcoming
because it's
gods.
all caps, I saw it. Please don't start putting everything in all caps. It just poked out at me. What about Kuzumbo? Kuzumbo, specifically the tech around him having the Nene Kappa is a new piece of tech that we would need to make. So that's why he wasn't able to be in this first 50. He is a popular god. I would expect that he's maybe sometime next year, but you know, I'm not committing to anything after this first 50.
Subject to change. We need an overlay for this skin
right,
too,
right.
you know.
But